Early morning outside the Rosedale subway station, Liberal MP Christy of Freeland is hunting for votes.
Hi, good morning. I'm your MP. I'm running for re-election. I hope you'll support me in October.
Yeah, of course.
You will? Great.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
The former journalist and acclaimed author won a by-election in Toronto Centre 2 years ago. Now she's running in the new riding of University Rosedale in what shapes up as a two-way fight with the NDP.
Absolutely, we can beat the NDP, and we can beat the NDP here in University Rosedale, in downtown Toronto, and across the country. And the real reason is we, the Liberal Party, offer the real change from Stephen Harper.
The NDP candidate, Jennifer Hollett, gets around by bicycle just like Jack Layton used to. She was a television journalist, and her career included a 3-year stint as a VJ on Much Music.
But I'll give you this, it's more on the election. Yeah, we're busy working hard. How are you? Jennifer Hollett, NDP, nice to see you.
Hollett is confident that both she and her party can win.
It's time for a government with a conscience. And that's who we are as the NDP. And coming off of a lost decade under Stephen Harper, it's time for something different.
Hi, good morning. My name is Kareem. I'm running for Parliament for this area, University Rosedale, and I just want to say hello.
Lawyer Kareem Jivraj, an Ismaili Muslim, is running for the Conservatives, even though he knows downtown Toronto is traditionally barren ground for his party.
Look, it's no secret that this is an uphill fight for me. This has traditionally been a Liberal fortress. I suspect now that the NDP is going to be more competitive. I am the underdog in this race.
University Rosedale is named for its two most famous features. Rosedale is an enclave of multi-million-dollar mansions, home to the rich and famous. The University of Toronto not only attracts the best and brightest, it also provides a pool of young voters for the candidates to woo. It's a riding full of social activists, hipsters, and immigrants. Ethnic neighborhoods like Chinatown and Little Italy meld with the chic boutiques and cafes in Yorkville. This is one of the wealthiest and best educated ridings in Canada. The average family income is $197,000, and 54% of adults are university graduates, as are the three main candidates.
I'm your MP. I'm running for re-election.
Freeland is a Rhodes Scholar with degrees from Harvard and Oxford.
Think about voting Liberal.
Hey there.
Hollett did a master's in public administration at Harvard.
I'm Kareem.
Nice to meet you.
You are?
Joseph.
Joseph?
Jivraj earned 2 law degrees at the Sorbonne in Paris.
I guess the joke in the riding is the three main candidates have more degrees than a thermometer.
I'm very pleased to be running in a race where there are educated, accomplished candidates. I think that it bodes well for the level of debates that we're going to have in the next few all-candidates meetings.
University Rosedale is made up of the northern half of 2 old ridings, Toronto Centre and Trinity Spadina. Toronto Centre has long been Liberal. Freeland won it in a 2013 by-election after Bob Rae retired. Trinity Spadina has long flip-flopped back and forth between red and orange. The NDP's Olivia Chow held it before resigning to run unsuccessfully as Toronto mayor, and Adam Vaughan took it back for the Liberals in a by-election last year. In the 2011 election, when the Liberals slumped so badly, the voters who make up this new riding went overwhelmingly NDP. In the 2 by-elections since, when Justin Trudeau was way ahead in the polls, they went overwhelmingly Liberal. Now, the tight race nationally means the contest here will almost certainly be a close one.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm your MP. I've just come by to say hi. I'm Krista Freeland.
I'm going to vote for you.
You're going to vote for me. Can I give you a hug to
Yes,
say thank you? Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope we may.
We're going to. Thank you.
So why are you running here instead of staying in Toronto Centre where you were elected as MP?
I'm running where I live. This is my home. This is where my kids go to school. You saw us now just canvassing. I'm canvassing my neighbors. I'm canvassing people whose homes my kids go to on play dates. And for me as an MP, It means a lot to live in the community I represent. It was important to continue to do that.
When you were elected in Toronto Centre, Justin Trudeau was way ahead in the polls. That's changed a bit. The NDP is fairly strong in this riding. Aren't you facing a much tougher race here?
You know, there's no doubt about it that this is a tough race. It's a tough race for me here. It's a tough race for Liberals in downtown Toronto. It's a tough race for us in the country. But I really welcome that challenge because this is a consequential election. I think that Canadians are tired of the Harper decade. They're ready for a change. And my job, when I talk to people outside the subway, when I talk to people at public meetings, when I most of all talk to people at their front doors, is to explain to them our plan and our vision for the post-Harper Canada.
Well, when you talk about change, I mean, nationally, it's, I guess, a race between Justin Trudeau and Thomas Mulcair to see who is seen as the best choice to replace Harper. And what sort of reaction are you getting in the riding to Mr. Trudeau versus Mr. Mulcair?
I'm getting a really positive reaction. For me, a real turning point has been our economic plan. Our plan to invest in infrastructure for growth and jobs has been a clear differentiator. You now have one party, the Liberal Party, that stands for investment in jobs and growth, and both the other parties, actually, not just the Conservatives, which we might have predicted, but also the NDP, are standing for cuts and austerity.
What about concerns, though, that the Liberals have committed to running deficits?
So many people have said to me at the door, you know, I have no problem with a modest deficit for a couple of years, given that we have, you know, a crying need for more infrastructure, given that our economy is in recession right now, and given that, you know, this is going to be something that is a long-term investment in our productive capacity. So people really understand that.
I'm Jennifer Hall, the NDP candidate in the area.
Hi, nice to meet
What's your
you.
name?
Naomi.
Naomi?
So, Jennifer, if you are elected, will you be the first former Much Music VJ ever in Parliament?
I think so, and I also think I'm probably the first VJ who's ever been a political candidate. But it was where it started for me, actually, with politics, because at Much Music I covered the 2004 federal elections. So that's where I interviewed Jack Layton, Stephen Harper, Paul Martin, yeah, I didn't expect it to lead me here, but it has.
Yeah. So Chrystia Freeland is an MP already, but if you look at this riding, how it voted in the last election, it would give the NDP a big victory. Does that make you the favorite or the underdog?
Well, I think right now there's a feeling in the air of excitement right now for the NDP because we're in the position for the first time ever to form a federal government. So we have a history of NDP representation, Olivia Chow, Dan Heap, we have the city councillors, a really progressive community here. So I think I come in standing on the shoulders of giants, but I take nothing for granted. So we are just out hard, working hard, and yeah, we're feeling good, but it's still a long race.
Obviously, a lot depends on which leader, Tom Mulcair or Justin Trudeau, is seen as the agent of change. Mulcair is under a lot of attack from both parties over how he's going to keep all the promises he's made and still balance the budget.
Yeah, I think right now all the candidates are under attack for their promises, right? That's one of the things that voters are always curious about, which is, can we trust politicians? And I think after 10 years of Stephen Harper and the Conservatives, unfortunately, a lot of people don't have much trust for politicians. When the NDP does well, we do get attacked from both sides. So I always actually feel, oh, that's a good thing. Both sides are attacking us. That means we're doing well. But this is a change election, and everyone agrees on that. So the question is, if we're going to be voting out Stephen Harper, who are we voting in? And Tom Mulcair comes in with a lot of experience. He is principled. We saw that on Bill C-51. And he's really offering Canadians something new with the NDP.
I mean, this fixation with a balanced budget, a lot of people on the left of the NDP, you know, aren't really that happy with it because to them it sounds a lot like Stephen Harper.
It's funny, that's not what I'm hearing. Right now, people who traditionally vote NDP are really excited about Tom. They're really excited about the possibility of forming government. And actually, the NDP of all the parties has the best track record for balancing budgets, whether it was Tommy Douglas, who balanced 17 budgets while ushering in universal health care, which is the policy that defines us as Canadians. That's why Tommy Douglas was voted the greatest Canadian. And also, the Finance Board has studied all the parties, see which one is the best at balancing budgets, and it is the NDP. But that doesn't always live up to that attack dog style stereotype that's out there. So it's something that maybe isn't very sexy, but we have a proud tradition of when it comes to public administration.
Very proud to be the voice of, free markets and free trade. Okay. And so I'm asking people to, take a second look at me. Okay. Or at least a first one.
You're up against two very dynamic women. One of them a sitting MP. Your national campaign has not been going as well as usual. There's a lot of talk about change. Do you feel you're sailing against the wind?
Well, this is a long campaign, as you know. It's a very long one, and there's ups and downs for every party. I think we're now rebounding, and with the NDP leading in the polls, I think that this change question is now: do we want change? To what kind of change do we want? And now a lot of voters are telling me at the door, and we've knocked on a lot of doors, something like 78,000 of them, and a lot of people are starting to think about the prospect of Prime Minister Mulcair, and they're not sure. They're having second thoughts, and that's exactly the place we want to be in. How are you? Great to see you. Thank you so much for coming. I'd like to say long time no see, but it hasn't been that long.
At the official opening of his campaign office, Jivraj got a high-profile boost from former cabinet minister John Baird.
I am, like all of you, really excited to be here in University Rosedale, really excited that we have a top-notch candidate. Let's work hard to elect Kareem on October 19th. Thank you very much.
Jivraj mocked all the talk of change, insisting the Conservatives have already delivered it.
Because change means that for the first time in generations, we are living within our means. Change means that over the past 10 years, we have managed to halt and reverse the expansion of the welfare state after the war. Change means that for the first time in generations, we have reduced bloated entitlement programs and federal bureaucracies.
His targets are Justin Trudeau and especially Tom Mulcair.
It's an NDP that is now being led by a career politician, someone who's cynical, someone who's running attack ads. This is a mean NDP, an NDP that is now establishing caucus discipline. I mean, there are so many new and energetic, voices in that orange wave from Quebec who've now been all but silenced. And I really think that Canadians want to know more about this mysterious Mr. Mulcair. What is he hiding?
Isn't that a bit rich to call another party cynical because they're running attack ads when the Conservative Party seems to almost have invented them?
The Conservatives have been running attack ads, and we admit it. We don't pretend to be holier than thou. We know that this is a political fight. For a very long time, though, the NDP rose above, the political divisions. They said, we're above this. And Thomas Mulcair is now leading a very, very different NDP. In fact, I suspect that a lot of people in the NDP are very uncomfortable, with what he's doing. He is now, taking a page out of the Conservative playbook.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. My name's Nick Wright. I'm your Green Party candidate in the upcoming federal election.
You're
Yeah.
Nick Wright.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Lawyer Nick Wright is running for the Green Party.
So I grew up here in downtown Toronto and went out east for university where I studied law and philosophy and business at Dalhousie. I was out there, I got involved with activism. I did a lot of animal protection activism and anti-war activism, and that led to getting into politics. So in 2006, I ran federally and then became the leader of the Green Party of Nova Scotia. And since then, I've been working to advance all sorts of issues, including animal protection issues.
What are you hoping to accomplish as the Green candidate in this riding?
As a Green candidate in this riding, I'm hoping to provide a vision for a better Canada, one that, unlike the left, supports small business by freezing income tax, one that, unlike all the old line parties, has a sustainable vision for a better and greener economy, and also to put an end to the tar sands and the destruction that the proposed pipelines will do.
Of the three main parties, is there one of them that is more acceptable to you in terms of their environmental policies?
There's a common misconception that the Green Party is lined with one of the old line parties, but the fact of the matter is that we pull from across the spectrum, because the Green Party is the only party with a forward-looking vision that seeks to transition to a green and sustainable economy and society. For example, the Green Party is the only one of the major parties that is against all proposed tar sands pipeline expansions, Energy East, moving to the west. So the Green Party is unique, and people who are concerned about these issues and want a long-term, sustainable vision for our country that the Green Party offers have come to the Green Party and support the party. Especially here in University Rosedale, there's great concern about our country and our future, and that's why we have such strong support in this riding.
Among the real long shots, Simon Louisi. He's a bike courier, a vegetarian, and a candidate for the third time for the Animal Alliance Environment Voters Party of Canada. So what exactly is it your party stands for?
No, we stand for protection of the environment and the animals, and we also want to hold politicians accountable when elections come for their environment records. Mm-hmm. That's what we're here for.
You're a fringe party. You've run before. How many votes did you get?
I got in the two other elections about 100 votes each.
So what do you hope to accomplish by putting your name out there?
I'm hoping to give a chance to everyone to make a statement for the animals. Our generations and the few generations that are among ours are the ones that are actually destroying the diversity of the earth. And I think it's really embarrassing. I feel the embarrassment.
How different are you from the Green Party, though? Why wouldn't you just vote for the Green Party?
The Green Party is a great option. As I mentioned, I was with them for a while. They're not as much in the animal rights perspective. They at their conventions, if you're there, they offer meat, for instance, which is not a product of animal rights, which is a product of animal cruelty. And so that when you vote for the Green Party, you vote for a bit of a diluted message, whereas our message, for instance, in animal agriculture, if we had it our way, there'd be much less greenhouse gases going into the atmosphere.
So do you campaign? Do you have campaign signs, for example?
Well, I think we don't have them. We are thinking about having them. We don't have them because a number of our candidates have suggested that it's not an environmentally friendly way of doing the election.
So thanks everyone for being here. We have another team a couple of teams coming out later tonight to canvass, but we will be the advance guard.
As for the two front runners, they're revving up their campaign teams for the final push.
So our office used to be a clothing store, which means there were change rooms when we arrived. So our CFO put together some wood, and we've changed them into rooms for change, where our volunteers can get in the phone bank, make some calls, and kind of keyword is change.
In a riding where bikes seem to be the transport of choice, the race is on to knock on the most doors.
Corey, how old are you?
5.5.
Are you in grade 1 or in SK?
Grade 1!
Grade 1? My son is in grade 1 too.
Get the most signs in the ground.
That's great, Mubarak. Thank you very much. Our first door, we get a sign. It's a good omen for our canvas.
And get the upper hand on issues.
I am Jennifer Hollett, and I am the NDP candidate here in University Rosedale, and I am a feminist.
As Jennifer Hollett speaks to a rally to stop violence against women, she's also trying to capitalize on protests here against Bill C-51, the government's anti-terror law. The NDP voted against it. The Liberals supported it.
What started with Bill C-51 when it was called the Anti-Terrorism Act, I mean, the Harper Conservatives are brilliant at framing, right? A lot of people went, wait a second, is this politics? Is this campaigning on fear? And actually, it was that mobilization of activists that drew a lot of attention to Bill C-51, plus the long list of 4 former prime ministers Amnesty International, the United Nations, leading human rights experts, civil liberties experts, lawyers who all live in this community came together and said, you know, despite our political leanings, this bill is wrong, it's dangerous and unnecessary.
Bill C-51, the anti-terror bill, Liberals voted for it. That seemed a bit more politics than principle, in that it seemed designed to protect Justin Trudeau from Conservative charges that he was soft on terrorism. Are you getting any backlash from that in this riding?
Absolutely. People are aware of Bill C-51 and are very thoughtful about it. The reality, though, which people find very easy to understand, is people know that a Liberal government would introduce very, very powerful amendments to Bill C-51, and people trust us on that. You know, I've had quite a few conversations at the door where I say, look, your rights and freedoms would be absolutely safe under a Liberal government.
But if you didn't like Bill C-51 in the first place and you were promising to amend it, why did you vote for it?
Well, I would say to the NDP, why did they vote against our amendments? Another good question to ask, and something that we are talking about at the door. Look, as you know, every bill, and the Conservative government has been sort of particularly fiendishly clever in doing this, has a lot of different provisions. Some that you might want to support and some that you oppose. And so it's always a difficult issue of what do you do when you have that mixed bag.
Trudeau said he'll change it if he's elected. Good enough argument?
Well, I'll tell you, not for voters here. People are really confused. If you have issues with a bill, why would you vote for it when your vote is actually not even needed? The Conservatives could have passed it without the Liberals.
The Conservative Party today is the only one who's taking a strong stance on national security.
Jivraj says both opposition parties are soft on terrorism for opposing the military mission against ISIS.
Now, the NDP, they've always been, pro-isolationism, and they've always taken that, stance. That, when there's trouble in the world, we'll just look away and pretend the problems will disappear. But I'm particularly disappointed with the Liberal Party, because the Liberal Party, remember, they've made tough choices in the past, and I'm afraid that, this new Justin Trudeau-led Liberal Party is no longer the party of Michael Ignatieff or John Manley.
The other day, someone stopped me. I was knocking on doors, but sometimes people in the street come up to say hi. And someone came up and he said, I'm voting for you. And I said, thank you so much. And he said, listen, I've always kind of considered the NDP, but now I'm committed to the NDP, and I am thanking Justin Trudeau for that. And I said, well, okay, why do you say that? And he said, Bill C-51, and he's not in a position to be Prime Minister. So thank you, Justin Trudeau, I'm voting NDP. So we have a lot of people who actually are coming to the NDP because they have questions around Justin Trudeau, whether it's flip-flopping on the economy or Bill C-51, or just not convinced that he's going to be the best leader for the country.
Your two main opponents say what they're getting at the door reflects those Conservative attack ads that Justin Trudeau just isn't ready.
I guess they would say that. I have found people were very impressed with Trudeau's performance in the first debate. I have no doubt that he will continue to do really well as the debates go on. And, what I hear people saying is they are impressed with the intelligence and the boldness of his choices, not least the choice to go for a big infrastructure program. And they're impressed with the fact that he is offering a new vision for Canada. The university is a big part of this riding, and we have a sort of Generation Trudeau movement. And for the young students there, a man who's 43 years old, is married and has 3 kids, doesn't seem too young to do a big job. He's their parents' age.
Freeland was recruited by Trudeau for her economic work, including her book Plutocrats, which explores growing income inequality. And she helped devise Liberal policies to try to deal with the problem.
Something that I worked on for many years before becoming a politician was sort of understanding this new winner-take-all economy in which the middle class gets hollowed out and people at the very top are doing better than ever. So we are asking people at the very top, if you earn more than $217,000 a year, to pay a little bit more in taxes to help your neighbors. And again, I'm finding a lot of understanding for that.
What I find more concerning and more subversive in this riding particularly is the Liberal, who is not an economic centrist, but who happens to be from the far left of the Liberal Party. The candidate, the Liberal candidate, was parachuted in, from the United States, and her claim to fame is, income inequality. She has been battling the so-called plutocrats, for years now, and frankly, her brand of class warfare simply doesn't resonate in a riding.
This election isn't about my book, but I'm really proud of it. It won the National Business Book of the Year award in Canada, again, generally not an award given to far-out leftist tomes, and it won the Lionel Gelber Prize.
Hi, good morning. My name's
Up against Freeland's awards, her rivals trumpet their local credentials.
And if, we're talking about selling points, I think the fact that, here in downtown Toronto, I'm the one, candidate from of the three major, parties who's actually from the city. I won't be going negative about this. I love my city. It's my hometown. And if anything, I'd like to welcome Krista and Jennifer to the place I've always called home.
Thank you so much. Downtown Toronto needs a downtown candidate, someone who can be a strong voice in Ottawa, but someone who also knows the local issues. And there are so many local issues that are federal issues, be it infrastructure and public transit, affordable housing, issues that students are facing at the university around jobs and precarious work. And yeah, I think in that community, street level based voice, and it's something I'm really proud of.
But she knows you can't win over everyone.
You're NDP, eh?
Yes.
I always vote NDP.
Aw, thank you.
But I like Justin, though.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah. Well, Claire's a little bit too much like the other,
Who are you voting for and why?
It'll either be Justin Trudeau or the NDP, because I don't want to have Harper back in. I think we'll probably end up with a minority government, but either way, it'll be much better than it is now.
I think Mr. Harper has done an excellent job on the economy, and I think for me that's probably the number one issue. Karim Javraj is a great young man who's got lots of energy, enthusiasm, kind of guy that you want to encourage to be in politics. So those are my reasons.
Why are you voting NDP?
In principle, I think Harper has done a reasonable job in some ways, but he can't be forgiven for his ignoring the environment, and also for his anti-democratic tendencies. So I think he has to be taken out.
Great. Thank you very much. Did you used to vote Conservative?
I have in the past, although I guess right now I'm not about to brag about it.
Have you decided who you're going to support and why?
Krista Freeland.
Why?
Because I think that the way we've treated the Aboriginals in this country is a shame. Instead of worrying about Syrian refugees, we have our own mess to clean up.
Mm-hmm. What else about the Liberals appeals to you?
I think the idea of spending money on infrastructure is very important for Toronto and for Canada in general.
For CPAC, I'm Roger Smith in University Rosedale.